If there were the smallest elephant in the world, it must be the elephant shrew. We sometimes also call it the jumping shrew. Many people would be curious. Its appearance is clearly that of a mouse. How could it be an elephant? In fact, the elephant shrew is a very ancient mammal. It has been on Earth, evolving for at least 23 million years. Yet its body size has never changed. But scientists have discovered its DNA is very similar to that of an elephant. From a genetic perspective, they come from the same evolutionary lineage. It can be said the elephant is like a distant cousin of the elephant shrew. It's also jokingly called by many the world's smallest elephant. Additionally, the elephant shrew's appearance is very cute. They are small in size and have a long, slender nose, looking like a fluffy little mouse. Elephant shrews mainly live in African tropical savannas, in harsh environmental regions. Usually, they primarily feed on insects. Secondly, their miniature nose can detect scent molecules of prey in dry climates, allowing them to hunt with precision. What kisses you might not be your girlfriend? It could also be a pygmy hippo. We sometimes also call it the dwarf hippo. The pygmy hippo's appearance resembles a hippo, but its overall body size is much smaller than a regular hippo. Interestingly, baby hippos at 6 months old look very amusing. Their skin is smooth and tender, and their personality is very lively. If you try to pick them up, they're like a struggling pig elbow. Very entertaining. Pygmy hippos are relatively intelligent animals. They exhibit certain social behaviors and emotional memory capabilities. So, when young, they act like human infants, using playful behaviors to get your attention. Additionally, hippos are semi-aquatic animals. Although they look tough and thick-skinned, their skin is very susceptible to UV damage, so they sometimes cover themselves in mud to protect their skin. If you're on a mountain and notice a pair of eyes staring at you intensely, you'd better be careful, because it might just charm you to death. Actually, this is a red-backed squirrel. Sometimes we also call it a flying fox. It belongs to the rodent family Serenidae, a rather peculiar type of mammal. Interestingly, the red-backed squirrel's call is very funny. Its high-frequency sound sounds very much like the chirping of nocturnal insects. Additionally, the red-backed squirrel has a very gentle and friendly personality. Many people abroad like to keep it as a pet. Under long-term domestication, they can adapt to human interaction, like pet cats and dogs. At the same time, red-backed squirrels are relatively intelligent and have strong learning and interaction abilities. With a little training, they can engage in many fun interactions with their owners. Sometimes, when they accidentally knock something over, they'll even stage the crime scene, pretending to be the victim, which is very funny. That pointy thing on its head is actually a sea lion. At this moment, it noticed the old man gave it the smallest fish. Interestingly, sea lions look very similar to seals, causing many people to confuse the two. Actually, they're quite easy to distinguish if you look closely. First, sea lions have a pair of small ears on the sides of their head, and their fur is sparse as single-colored, while seals only have two small holes with dense fur, some parts even having spots. Secondly, their movement patterns differ. Sea lions can bend both their front and hind limbs, able to support their body to crawl, while seals have shorter limbs. Additionally, during their infancy, seal pups are extremely cute. Their bodies are small and delicate, looking like little puppies. With long-term human interaction, sea lions tend to have a relatively gentle and intelligent temperament. Possessing excellent performance talents, they often interact with humans. For example, they often nap on benches at the harbor. During market days, they go to the seafood market to watch, waiting for the vendor to give them some unwanted. They will climb onto human boats to seek help and hide. This whimpering creature in the owner's hand is actually a lemur. Sometimes we also call it a white mouse. It is the smallest primate among mammals. Lemurs are recognized as the miniature representatives of primates. Their overall size is similar to common rats, but their appearance is extremely cute, due to the temperament of primates, which is relatively lively, and their intelligence is also relatively high. Broad. They are often domesticated and kept as pets. Under artificial breeding conditions, they recognize their owners through their lingering scent and behave very clingy, which is quite interesting. Quite fascinating. Additionally, many people often mistake them for weasels. But strictly speaking, they are not true weasels, but are closely related to weasels. What you don't know is, although lemurs are small in size, in the wild, they are perfect hunters. Due to their extremely fast metabolism, they need to eat several times their body weight in food daily. So in their eyes, as long as it looks like food, no matter how big, they dare to take it on. This thing acting cute in front of its owner is actually a sea otter. Among marine mammals, it is a relatively small primate species. Interestingly, many people sometimes confuse it with river otters. Hard to tell them apart. The difference between sea otters and river otters is sea otters have denser, thicker fur, while river otters have sparser, smoother fur. Also, sea otters are larger than river otters. Sea otter pups look adorable and cuddly. Like plush toes, their fur is dark yellow, turning light yellow after a few weeks. And sea otters spend most of their time in cold ocean waters. Born thin, they cannot swim, mostly lying on their mother's belly. Gradually adapting to marine life, sea otters' intelligence is relatively high among animals. They possess complex cognitive and learning abilities. For example, they use tools to open extremely hard shells. Slightly domesticated sea otters can show strong emotional interactions with humans. When it's time to clock out, they enthusiastically help keepers tidy up items. Extremely cute and adorable. This group of things arranged like robots in a pit are actually albatross chicks, also known as caged sheep, because their calls sometimes sound like sheep bleating. Interestingly, albatrosses differ from most birds. Their bodies are robust and sturdy. Their beaks are grooved and sharp, very sharp. What you don't know is, they are also one of the largest birds by wingspan. Adult albatrosses can have a wingspan of up to 4 meters, belonging to a type of large seabird. What's quite peculiar is, albatrosses spend most of their lives over the ocean, only returning to land during the breeding season. During the chick rearing stage, they only recognize the nest, not the chick. So if a chick falls out of the nest, even if it's nearby, its mother wouldn't recognize it, and it won't give any food to chicks outside the nest. What's quite fascinating is, although albatrosses are very large in size, they are incredibly skilled at long-distance flight. With their broad wings, they can harness the lift of the air to glide. This reduces a lot of energy consumption. It can be said that, without eating, they could fly in the sky for up to 5 years. This thing with clear, college student-like eyes is actually a pelican. Sometimes we also call it a sugar moth. It's a type of large waterfowl. Interestingly, the pelican is one of the heaviest flying birds in the world. Their body length can reach up to 180 centimeters, with a wingspan of over 2 meters, and they can weigh up to 12 kilograms. Unlike other waterfowl, pelicans have very long beaks, with an elastic pouch at the bottom. It can hold many large objects like a super net. Additionally, pelicans have a gentle and cautious temperament, but they can occasionally be aggressive. As a very greedy bird, it tries to taste everything. For example, it eats a few of its zoo colleagues every day. Not only does it eat even tourists are like small snacks to it. It has to taste them to check their flavor. Since this silly bird never learns to prevent it from eating other zoo animals, it can only be kept with capybaras. One is emotionally stable, while the other wants to eat but can't. They're simply a match made in heaven as roommates. If there's a fish in the world that loves to sulk the most, it's definitely this one. Under the name pufferfish, there are two completely different types of creatures. One is a freshwater dolphin mammal, while this one refers to a pufferfish, so it's also called the fish character pufferfish. Unlike other fish, pufferfish have a cylindrical shape and are covered in spines, but they have very low aggression, almost none. So when they're stimulated or attacked, they quickly suck in water or air into their bodies, making themselves 3 times larger, like a balloon. So if they're eaten, they can only puff up to save themselves. Interestingly, they're often caught during sea fishing. But since pufferfish are highly toxic, most anglers rarely keep them. Instead, they use them as shoe brushes and then release them. The ones you raise come in many species. When they're not angry, they're quite cute in the water. So some that look particularly nice are often taken home by many people to be raised as ornamental fish. If there's an animal in the sea that loves square dancing, it's definitely this one. Boxing crabs, sometimes called patterned small crabs, belong to a type of small crab with unique appearance. The reason they like to dance alone feels like they're underwater cheerleaders. This is actually a survival mechanism. On their claws, the two things that look like chrysanthemums are two sea anemones, constantly waving. The anemones can mimic underwater to disguise themselves. Secondly, they use the anemones in their claws to catch some plankton, thus obtaining food. When attacked, they also continuously wave their anemones to fend off predators, as the anemones resemble flowery plants, but in fact, they are cnidarians. Their tentacles are covered with venomous stinging cells that can paralyze prey. Anemones and these crabs have a symbiotic relationship. Move very slowly, making it very difficult to obtain large amounts of planktonic food. However, living with these crabs cleverly forms an ecological loop. This thing that walks like it's raving is truly a fascinating creature. Actually, it's a kind of autumn jade. Sometimes we also call it a mountain yam. It's a type of medium-sized social bird among bird species, unlike the common birds we see. The autumn jade has a very unique way of walking. Usually, they take one step and sway their body 3 times, and it's very rhythmic. It looks like they're dancing at a disco. Very funny. Due to their unique way of moving, they're often teased as the 3-sway dancing bird. Because the autumn jade's walking style is very slow. Whenever they cross the road, vehicles on the road have to stop and wait for them. The reason they walk this way is actually a biological instinct of the autumn jade. They really enjoy foraging in wet woodlands or swamps to adapt to complex terrain and avoid stepping into voids or getting stuck in mud. They use this stomping method to ensure safety. In fact, this is often seen in human life too. This thing that's generating electricity with its feet is actually a flute crane, a type of small wading bird. The flute crane's appearance is very interesting. They have a large, round head, a short, thick neck, and a short beak, looking very sturdy. They be flute cranes in their juvenile stage, or very cute. Their size is about the same as a newly hatched chick. Interestingly, the flute crane's eating habits are very unique. They eat almost all day long, and during foraging, they perform odd behaviors like constant foot stomping, like they're sending a telegraph. This is because, as carnivorous animals, they mainly feed on invertebrates and crustacean larvae, constantly tapping the sand quickly with their feet to create vibrations producing high-frequency stimuli to confuse prey, making them think it's a change in water flow and emerge from the ground. Additionally, the flew crane's courtship method is different from other birds. They attract mates by marching in step, with a serious high-stepping motion that looks very amusing, making people laugh when they see it.